Good morning, everybody. This is Martin John, and I am here to present Tao of the Day. It's 8:30 here in the Chicagoland area, and last time I was on yesterday, and I talked about being impartial, and how important it is to be impartial, and how I was observing myself yesterday, and um, and how nature doesn't care. And we talked a lot about how utilizing this idea of being impartial allows us to stay centered. And so, Tao of the Day is a talk I do every day that focuses on the Tao Te Ching. I have currently been focusing on the translation of the Tao that I wrote this past year, and really looking to expose people to what the Tao says. I had a lot of really great conversations yesterday, not here on Wisdom, but IRL, right, in real life, and all about different aspects of being impartial. And so it was a really great start to my day, and I went out and I did some gardening and I worked yesterday. There's all sorts of stuff. And today, later in the day, I have a job interview. I'm going to be going in and interviewing for a director of education position. And it's interesting as those things come, because being impartial is going to be really important for me. One, I don't want to go in cocky. But two, also just being impartial to whether I get it or not, whether it's a good interview or a bad interview. Those things don't matter. I want to be able to observe myself as I'm going through it. Um, and I'm just sitting here on number 28. I'm going to go ahead and read 28 today. If you have a number between 1 and 81 you'd like to read together, please let me know, and we will read it over together. 28 is a little longer, and we'll see what it says, and then we'll break it down. Know the world through the masculine, but access your power through the feminine. In this way, you will be open to receive. If you can receive, then your actions will support. Then they will never be forced, and you will be innocent. Know the world through the light, but connect to it within the dark. In this way, you will be open to the truth. If you can see truth, manifestation will not fool you. You will fall away, it will fall away, and nothing will elude you. Know the world through the particular, but know that there is no particular here. In this way, you will accept all things. If you can accept all things, you will be a light that will guide you and all beings back to source. The manifestation was formed from the void. The master knows the manifestation, yet stays focused on the void within it. That is how she uses all things. This is a really powerful one, and I'm really glad to be kind of going over it right now. Once again, anybody is invited to join me in this discussion, but or in picking a number, and we can go over it. But I'm gonna indulge myself a little bit and go through this. So we're gonna just start right at the beginning, because there are some overarching things. I just can't always put it all together. So we're gonna go to the beginning. We're gonna look at what says: know the world through the masculine, but access your power through the feminine. So I actually talked about masculine and feminine yesterday, because there was an article about Pablo Picasso and him being a womanizer and all of this stuff. And when we're talking about 70 years ago, consciousness was at a different place. It was definitely seated more in the masculine than it is today. Now, just because Pablo Picasso was an artist, like, he had access to more feminine energy than was accessible to many others. Um, when we talk about masculine and feminine energy, we talk about force or yielding, right? Know the world through force, know the world through penetration, know the world through putting your stamp on it, know the world through your ego. But access your power through that spirit, access your power through yielding, access your power through allowing. In this way, you will be open to receive. Right? When you allow, you receive what other people are acting as. And don't forget, they're not acting on their own, just like you're not acting on your own. They're acting through Tao. Their actions are not their own. Your actions are not your own. You think that, it looks that way, it seems that way, but you're part of a bigger entity, right? And that entity is working through you. Now, when you can surrender to that and stop taking credit for it all and blame for it all, you just allow yourself to be and observe what you're doing. You don't have to have purpose and meaning and all of that. And fulfillment comes from within. If you can receive, then your actions will support. Like that's it. They will support. What are they going to support? They're going to support all things. They're just going, every action you take will support. Even if you take the action of getting angry and hurt or whatever, that is going to be a support for other things. You don't know, and it doesn't really matter. Like you wanting to know is the problem. They will never be forced, and you will be innocent, right? Your actions will never be forced, and you will be innocent. You're innocent. That doesn't mean that other people don't get hurt. That doesn't mean that other people don't get disturbed or angry, but you're innocent because these aren't your actions. You're following Tao by observing, not by planning and and moving towards your emotional response. As we go through this, we'll talk about the manifestation a little bit more, and don't forget the manifestation is just the masculine aspect of like what's actually happening underneath. We got to be aware of what's happening underneath us, and how these things are coming to our body, how these movements are coming to us. Know the world through the light, but connect to it within the dark. This always reminds me of my dark retreat. I always like to call it an advance, not a retreat. But in this way, you will be open to truth because the light is the truth, right? The light is the thing. The darkness is the truth. The truth, you don't have to, if you close your eyes and have no proof, then you can feel within yourself what the truth is. What we do when we open our eyes is we look for proof of things happening, proof that we're loved, proof that we're right, proof of all of these things, proof that we're wealthy, proof that we're abundant, proof that we're smart, proof that all of these things, but none of them mean a damn. It's when we close our eyes and sit in the dark and say, this is truth, me here in the dark right now. This is why it says, like, know the world through the light. Sure, know it. Know that there are flowers and they're beautiful. But when you turn out the light, all of that goes away. There is no beauty. There is no ugly. We are here. And that is all. So you can know you can know the world through the light, but connect to it. Connect to that flower within yourself in the dark. You can't see it. You don't know it, but it is alive. You are alive and you are connected. Now close your eyes and connect with it. In this way, you will be open to the truth of that connection. You will be open to what is energetically being spoken by that flower, by that person. Instead of saying, oh, prove to me that you love me, let me sit down and feel the love that you have for me. And in doing that, I don't need proof. I let go of proof. If you can see truth, right, and you can see truth when you connect to the world within the dark, if you can see truth, manifestation will not fool you. How many of you have been fooled by somebody who told you something but didn't mean it? It, speaking of manifestation, will fall away and nothing will elude you. You can look out at the sky and say, oh, what a beautiful day. And the next day, it could be a tornado that tears your house down. You're fooled into believing that because it's nice today, it will be nice tomorrow. Because I am alive today, I will be alive tomorrow. That's not true. But if you feel, you're like, my time is coming. This relationship is coming to an end. This time is coming to an end. This identity is coming to an end. Because you're connected to it within the dark, not the light. The light shows you proof. The light points to things. The light in the world, right? The physical light shows you, oh, okay, if I go left, I will find the place. Well, maybe if you don't leave your house, you can find the place, right? A lot of people, I'm going to go on a retreat to Sedona and like I'm going to experience the vortices. Well, the vortices exist within you. Don't be fooled by the light. Don't be fooled by where you are. Close your eyes and connect. That's what this is saying, right? And this is being said after the masculine and feminine, right? Masculine is proof. Light is proof. Know the world through the particular, but know that there is no particular here, right? So the light, what it's saying is know the world through the masculine, the force, the physicality of the world. Know the world through the light, the proof that you can see things happening around you. But access your power through yielding and connect with the world through darkness without being able to rely on the proof. Now it says, know the world through the particular, right? Know the world. Like, sure, speak about the world. This is a cup. This is a computer. This is my hand. This is me. This is you. Sure. Those things are particular. Like, I love you. That love is like particular. And then you're going to be like, oh, when we broke up, you started hating me. Now that hate is particular. Sure. All of those things are particular. But know that there is no particular here. Particular doesn't exist at the level that you exist. Like that you truly exist. That separate you, the mind, the body, those physical things, those exist. And those are the things that relate to, like, right? Know the world through the masculine, right? That's the physical body or the mind, the way that you think about things, let's say, right? Know the world through the masculine, the mind, how you want to power over, you want to be independent, right? But access your power through the feminine by receiving. Know the world and your body through the light, the proof, the physicality of the world, but connect to it within the dark and get rid of all of that physicality. Know the world through the particular, all the things that your mind and body can separate, but know that there is no particular here. In this way, you will accept all things. You will accept love and hate, and you will accept right and wrong, and you will accept blue and green, and you will accept this or that, all of the particular. You will accept them all as they are. You accept someone that identifies as a man today and then identifies as a woman tomorrow. You will accept this. Why? Because there is no particular here. The moment you start to particular, to start being particular, the moment you start to embrace your identity as something particular, that's when you're separating yourself from Tao, separating yourself from all that you are. In this way, you will accept all things, and you can accept all things as they are, and you don't have to be like, well, I'm an artist, so I have to do things this way. No, you just dodge and move, dodge and move. You're just always moving, always doing the next most obvious thing. If you can accept all things, you will be a light that will guide you. If you accept all things, you will be a light that will guide you and all beings back to source. So, right, and so like this is when you can accept all things, you will be a light, not the light that we were talking about earlier, like know the world through the light, but you will be a beacon, you know, you will be a beacon, um, you will be a beacon that will guide you and all beings back to source. That's what you're going to be. You're going to be this hot burning log that will ignite and inspire others around you. So that's the big part, right? Like this is now we're getting to this final section, last 4 lines. The manifestation was formed from the void. So that's the thing. Everything that you want to put your force on, as the masculine, everything that you want to identify with your mind and body as separate, everything that you want to make particular, that was all formed from the void. The void formed all of that. All of that is formed from the absence, from the void. The master knows the manifestation, sure. The master can step in and say, this is a house, and this is a cup, and this is you, and this is me. And these are all the things that we can identify. We know those things. We as masters, right? Like any master is going to know the world and its manifestations. Can be like, yes, this is the manifestation. Look, there's a bird. Isn't it pretty? Look at that sunset. Isn't it pretty? Beautiful. Yes. Whoop de fucking do. Why? Because the master stays focused on the void within it. Within all of that exists void. And when you close your eyes and you get rid of the masculine, need to identify in your mind things and put your power over it and have an ego around the world around you. When you know that, yes, there is light in the world that helps me see this, but it is the darkness and is the connecting that I do deep within that is most poignant and is the most important part. And the last line is, that is how she uses all things. Once you create a particular, you create one and then the other, right? You create, oh, this is a cup. Well, there's cup and no cup, right? Now you've created opposites, right? Before there was just, well, everything's the same. You just use it. I was talking to an artist, and a curator, actually, artist and curator, yesterday. And we were talking about a project he's going to be doing in Chiloé. And Chiloé is an island on the southernmost end of Chile near Patagonia. And he's going to get local artisans who like basket weave and knit and do all of these other things to work with contemporary artists. And that was something that I wanted to do in Spain, where I would bring, artisans from South America to Spain to teach local Spanish artists, right? And the reason that I wanted to do that was because of this identifying, because of this particularizing of things, right? Contemporary art is this thing that the modern white Eurocentric art world loves and is and dismissed and has dismissed so much of the indigenous culture, indigenous artwork, and indigenous like creations. And that's the thing. It's not artwork to them. They just do it. But artists make art. There's all of this identifying. There's all of this masculine identifying, masculine sort of saying, well, I did this and this exists in this particular realm, and that particular realm has measurements of how good or bad something is, and the more I can see, the more light there is, and there's no darkness, and there's no absence, there's no feminine, it's all force, force, force. And in making, in an indigenous culture, it's very feminine. It's very just, no, I'm just doing this because it's what I'm doing. I'm just living here at this moment. That's what comes to mind when I read this one. I'm gonna go ahead and read it again. If anybody wants to step up and pick a number, we can go through another number. Know the world through the masculine, but access your power through the feminine. In this way, you will be open to receive. If you can receive from your actions, if you can receive, then your actions will support. They will never be forced, and you will be innocent. Know the world through the light, but connect to it within the dark. In this way, you will be open to the truth. If you can see truth, manifestation will not fool you. It will fall away, and nothing will elude you. Know the world through the particular, but no, there are no particulars here. In this way, you will accept all things. If you can accept all things, you will be a beacon that will guide you and all beings back to source. The manifestation was formed from the void. The master knows the manifestation, yet stays focused on the void within it. This is how she uses all things. Graciela, welcome.
Ah, what number was that?
28.
I love that. That's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, and I had a really great conversation yesterday, really all about this, and that's what made it really kind of poignant for me.
Mm. Yes, I love it when that happens too.
Yeah.
So, good morning. How was your
Good
weekend?
morning. It was good. I don't really recall it. Let me think. Oh, I was
You
stuck
still don't have a
in
floor on your house that you're working on?
oh, I got a temporary floor,
Oh, okay.
you know. Yeah, it's going to be temporary maybe for like a year. It's going to be a while cuz I got
Mm.
to like underneath the floor, I have to jack the house up and do all of this other stuff. So it's not
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
those things take time.
Right. Well, I mean, a year goes by super quick, so it'll be done this year
Yeah, no,
anyway.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. It's just, once I'm trying to kind of manage how much I bite off, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I could tear up every floor, but I don't think I have to do that. And so I'm just doing it little by little, and that gives me at least a house that I can live in, and it's okay, and
Right.
and other stuff. So.
Oh, I mean, I think after spending a week in a dark cave, you're totally comfortable and fine anywhere.
Yeah, I could make it work, but
That's
the
right.
the extended periods of time that we have to, you know, it just like they can get tiresome,
Oh
like. And
yeah, I'm
so like
sure.
one of the great
Absolutely.
things about being able to live in this space and work on it at the same time is that I could do, what the Tao talks about, action integration. I do a little something, and then I'm quiet and I integrate that
Hmm.
which has been done, and then I can go back and do a little more, and then come back and be quiet, and then it's just
Hmm.
this back and forth. It's just kind of like allowing and dancing and back and forth with the house. So
Hmm. Yeah, Tuesdays tend to be really quiet for me because Mondays are so intense.
yeah,
Mm. So I want to try number 44 because it is April 4th, and this month
yeah.
is my birthday and Elijah's, and this month I'm gonna go see Taylor Swift.
Oh my
What?
God,
I'm
like
so
people love Taylor
excited.
Swift.
Oh my gosh, I love her so much. And I'm gonna see my baby sister for the first time since 2020.
What?
Yep, she's coming to the concert.
Oh, well, that's gonna be such a fun night.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna be walking around like attached at the hip.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Yes.
so glad.
We're gonna cuddle for as long as she's here, and she's literally here for less than 72 hours.
Oh, well,
Yeah, I
I'm
love it
glad
so
that
much.
you guys are gonna bring
Hmm.
be together. That's amazing.
Yes, you'll see all the pictures. Thank you.
I'm
So
I'm
yeah,
looking
let's
forward
do
to it.
44
44.
because I've
The
never heard that before.
the influence of excess. Fame or integrity, which of these do you focus on seeing and obtaining? Possessions or fulfillment, in which do you spend your time investing? Success or failure, of which has offered you the most growth? Under the influence, you spend yourself, accumulating only loss and regret. Fulfill your needs and be content. When you know excess is excessive, you'll be open to receiving harmony.
Love this. I love this. Leading up to the full moon in Libra in tomorrow and the next day.
Mm.
Libra is all about harmonizing and trying to find that elusive balance. And under the influence for me tends to be a lot of escapism. I can play a Netflix episode of a show I've seen before, which is very common for highly sensitive people to do,
Mm-hmm.
because it offers like how can I explain it? It offers a type of settling of the nervous system, which for us tends to be activated quite often, right? Because you've already seen it and you know what's happening next.
Right.
And so if I am cooking and nobody else is with me, and I include Elijah in that category because
Yeah.
he's not going to come up and have a normal conversation with me. He's just going to come up and be like, Mama, Mama, Mama. And he just
Right.
needs me, right? So I can just pause, whatever. But I watch a lot of Netflix, and several times a day, I have to remind myself that I can't get hooked on the episode, even though I love it so much because I have things to do. So it is a
Mhm.
discipline for me to pause. And sometimes I swear it's like a 2 minute episode whatever while I wash my hands or something like that.
Right.
And it's almost fascinating how quick I can access an episode, just play it in the background.
Well, that's their that they're working. They want that. They want you to just be able to
Right.
think about it and to turn on your TV and
That's
go
right.
exactly to the thing that you want to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've seen, needless to say, I've seen a lot of episodes a lot of times.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it happens in excess sometimes, and I have to keep myself in check.
Right.
So I'm glad to have all of those things that pull me back on the earth. So Elijah is one of them, obviously. My husband as well, because Michael works from home. So like at any time he's gonna
Mm.
walk in and, interrupt. I know it sounds bad, but you know what I mean.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Like
so yeah,
switching is such an energy drain and a time drain.
yes,
And
it's
as soon as
exhausting.
if you're responding to an email or just doing anything, and someone
Mhm.
comes in and says, hey,
Now I need your
I can't
attention.
find a fork. And then you're like,
That's
oh,
right.
it like, yeah, they're in the dishwasher or whatever. And it's like, oh, okay. And now you got to go back. Your
That's
mind
right.
has gotten shifted away, and now it's got to come back. And that's something
Mhm.
that, in an environment of like a business environment, like that's something that is like, you cannot do that, because you like that is literally wasting so much of that person's time, and they don't even recognize it, but it is something that can be measured.
Right. Yes. So that's my day. Um, it's it's a marvel I get anything done. No, I'm kidding. With both of them and me in the middle, right? But anyway, yeah, go ahead and
Yeah,
read.
breaking it down a
Mhm.
little bit, like I love this middle line. This middle line really kind of ties a lot together, because in the beginning we start with the three pairs, right? Fame or integrity. Of which of these do you focus on seeing or obtaining? This is both seeing out in the world. Do we focus on seeing like influential people? Do we focus on seeing fame more than we see and focus on seeing or obtaining integrity? Like, it's
Right.
very often, I think, we find in the world today that famous people are giving advice about things they have no idea about, you
Oh
know?
yeah, that happens to me all the time. I give advice sometimes and I'm like, what? Where the heck did that come from? No, I'm kidding. I don't give advice. I'm a
Yeah, no,
coach.
I
I
know.
just ask questions. But, you know, I got very excited last night because in my show, I never lost my train of thought once. And sometimes it happens more than once in one episode. And I'm so embarrassed by that.
No.
And it's interesting that this number is coming up for me because I've been reevaluating a lot of my relationship, or my structured life around my social media because
Mhm.
it was such a turn off a week ago when I woke up to having like someone with a fake account with my posts on it. And I was
Right.
like, man, well, what am I doing this for? Like, if
Right.
they're going to do that anyway, right? Because they
Yeah.
will, absolutely. Even getting the blue check does not really guarantee impersonator accounts are not going to come up out of the woodworks. It's just going to let people know who the real one is, right? And that's mine with the blue check. So it's making
Instagram or
me,
Twitter or,
oh, Instagram just released that. It's like
oh,
$15 a month to get it,
well,
to
then
get the blue check.
anybody could pay that for that. Yeah,
Right, that's right, exactly.
yeah,
Well, you
so it's
have to
not a
show
big deal.
your government ID, so nobody else
Oh, okay,
could
well, that's
get
good.
a blue, right, nobody else could get a blue check with my name on their account.
Oh, okay, well, good.
Yeah, there's some logistics to that, but it's just making me reevaluate everything. Like, where are my resources best spent? Where is my energy and my time best spent, right? Like,
Yeah.
the way that when Elijah is awake, my time is best spent and my energy is best spent with him.
Hmm.
And then when he's awake, when he's asleep, then how can I maximize the time that I have? Um, so anyway, lots of questions, decisions, decisions, and
Yeah, and then this the next line, definitely relates to time because it says possessions or fulfillment. In which do you spend your time investing?
right. Are you
You know.
investing in things, which is
Hmm.
I did you ever meet Donika?
Don't eat. No, I don't believe so.
Oh, you haven't met Donika. We love Donika. Okay.
Oh, I
She was
don't know.
here for a few, but she's from Twitter Spaces and she just decided to stay there.
Yeah.
But she was here though, and I forgot why I just brought her up right now. Oh, she explained to all of us like about the chakras and whatnot, and she said something that about the root chakra and collecting things.
Hmm.
And we collect a lot of vinyl. We I swear we have over 1,000 vinyl records in this house.
Hmm.
And so I remember coming to her with like fear in my voice and being like, "Oh my gosh, is my root chakra like messed up because I collect vinyl?" And she's like, "No, I mean, you're not a hoarder and your house is not completely trashed." Like, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I get it." So there's an extreme to this.
Yeah.
But all of that to say that it's having a small house has it really forces us to remember that money is better spent in experiences. So that's what this where this is going.
Yeah. Possessions or fulfillment. In which do you spend your time investing? I remember a time I went to this guy's party and he had like, the vinyl dolls, the adult like little dolls and all of these things and he was hip and stuff. This is 15 years ago or whatever. And I was talking to a nurse outside and she was saying, "Oh man, I wish I was cool like him." And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Do you want to spend your time like looking for these dolls because like the internet was still not like I mean you can buy things on the internet but that wasn't how these things were acquired really." And I was like, "Do you want to go to like these shops and like look for things and like get magazines and read about?" And she was just like, "No, I wouldn't want to do that." And I was like, "You spend your time like helping people that are ill."
Hmm.
I was like, "You're so much cooler in terms of like where you spend your time than this guy who's got all of these dolls and all of these things and all of this stuff that make him cool." Like he's spending all of his time acquiring those things. Like you're spending your
Right.
time connecting to people. It was such a beautiful
Hmm.
conversation to have, and that this us talking about this really just like made me think about that.
Yay. I love
Su-
it. Well, thank you so much.
Success, yeah,
Go ahead.
success or if you gotta go, you can go.
I have two
Success or
minutes.
failure of which has offered you the most growth. And
Hmm.
that I like the way that is phrased because like obvious like growth it comes from this space of failure and just comes from this like the space of being able and it's not even failure, it's just how we identify that, right? Oh well,
That's
let's see
right.
how can I do this better,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know
Yes. Well, as the clock keeps ticking and I get closer to self-imposed deadlines on projects and little
yeah,
seeds I'm nurturing and whatnot, um, there's always a thought of if it's something I've done before, how can I do it better or differently? Absolutely, that's part of the process. And I talk a lot about all of our many definitions of what success is, and failure is the same thing. What I look at as failure, you may not look at as failure. But anyway, I
right.
gotta go. Love you.
Yep,
Thank you.
take it, love you, I'm gonna finish this so if you want to keep listening. So the next line is under the influence you spend yourself, and that's kind of like money, like you spend yourself. And what that means in relation to what we just read is if you're under the influence of fame, you spend yourself and you continue to take your time trying to acquire this thing that it may be at odds with your integrity. Under the influence of the possessions that you have and the coolness, like that guy, right? His coolness and the identity that he held around his possessions, he's spending himself. If you are spending yourself to be seen as successful, once again, as we talk about social media and all of those sorts of things, You are spending yourself. It's like, and you have like just like anything, you, the thing that you're spending, your body, your mind, your time, it's all limited. But the deep you is unlimited. But you have to look at your integrity, your fulfillment, and growth. Those are the things that you look to when you want to be quiet. You say, okay, well, I know there are limits. Like, let me get over those limits. Those limits aren't trying to get more famous. Those limits aren't going to grow by you trying to get more possessions. Those aren't going to grow by you trying to be more successful. But when you're under the influence of those things, you spend yourself and accumulate only loss and regret. So the thing, once you spend $1, that's $1 that went out. Now you got to spend your time making more money so that you can have that money back. Fulfill your needs and be content. What are your needs? Do you have, like, what are these needs that you have? What are your needs? Not your wants. What are your needs? I heard a quote from Sadhguru once that said, I'm not a huge fan of his, but he has some good things to say. He said, you know, don't go doing what you want in your life. Do what needs to be done. When you know excess is excessive, when you know excess is excessive, it's excessive to have more. You don't need more. You're fine. What do you need? If, when you know that excess is excessive, you'll be open to receiving harmony. And that's the thing. Like, you want to receive harmony, you want to receive balance, you want to receive from the universe everything that you need. And everything will be in balance. Things fall out of balance when you're not in harmony. Then things start to, like, you start to say, oh, I need more fame. And I'm going to, you know, I'm going to shit on myself in order to get that fame. I'm going to do these things in order to accumulate that. All right. Thank you very much for joining me for Tao of the Day. If anybody wants to step up in the last minute, you can. I am going to be signing off. Otherwise, thank you once again, Graciela, for picking 44. Such a beautiful number. And yeah, I'm Martin John. This is Tao of the Day. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.